Sammy Eula! I'm nobody's bitch. You are mine.
Josh and Jesse, Jesse and Josh, Your Mother Ate My Dog is the name of their podcast. Are you ready?
I am ready, yes.
Okay, well, let's welcome everybody now to our newly named podcast.
The newly named podcast.
Yeah, I'm your host, Josh, and he's your host, Jesse. Okay, tell me about the name of this podcast. It was your idea, 100% your idea. I had nothing to do with it. Where did it come from?
Well, back when we together, we used to love watching movies on VHS, specifically horror movies. And there's one we came across called Dead Alive that we both sort of fell in love with. One of Peter Jackson's early films. And there's a scene in that film with sort of like this outrageous scene. Well, the whole movie is a little outrageous. And the main character's girlfriend, I guess, brings her dog over to his parents, I guess his mother's house, not parents. And, well, that line is uttered. And it just kind of stuck with me.
Tremendous. Okay, so it was my choice, my pick for the movie for this week, after last week's sci-fi epic primer. This week, I chose a movie, 2001 movie. The description to this one is quite interesting. A rogue multiverse agent goes on a manhunt for alternate versions of himself, getting stronger with each kill. Only the last version of himself, an LASD cop, can stop his crusade before he becomes the One. The movie? The One. 2001. I wonder if they did that on purpose.
I doubt it.
If you heard that description before knowing anything about the movie, who would you think starred as the One?
Well, I don't know.
Jet Li. You would think Jet Li, 100%.
Yeah.
And he did. He starred in this movie. He starred many versions. I believe there was 123 versions of Jet Li at some point. You said you watched this movie today?
I did watch it
Fresh in
today.
your mind?
Fresh in my mind in the wee hours of the morning. At like 6 in the morning, I watched this movie.
Oh, well,
it's quite a way to wake up.
Yeah, I watched it this morning as well with my coffee. It's probably the best way to do it. I was a little more forgiving that early. So this movie starred, even though it was a 2001 movie, it starred a lot of familiar faces. A lot of faces that you would recognize. But back in 2001, they were really unknown. Besides Jet Li, for example, the second main character, Jason Statham, the English actor who you may know from the movie The Mechanic 1 and The Mechanic 2, where I don't believe he even played a mechanic. I hadn't seen the movies. I don't know if there was even a mechanic in the movie.
I never heard of those movies.
Me neither, but they exist.
Yeah.
The main female, the love interest, if you will, kind of.
Yeah.
The mom from Spy Kids. Spy Kids.
That's where I remember.
1, 2, and 3. She's been in, other stuff as well, but you would probably know her from Spy Kids.
Classic.
And then the next main guy, a guy who also looks familiar. Nobody knows his name. His name is Delroy Lindo, in case you were wondering. This is actually his second Jet Li movie that he's been in. I actually don't know if this was the first one or the second one. I didn't do too much digging on that, but he was in Romeo Must Die as well. Just a fun fact. I have a lot of fun facts for this movie.
It seems like
it was a fun movie. Fun movie. There was also some cameos from more familiar faces. The movie should have been called Who's That Familiar Face? But you may have recognized the star of Under the Dome. Was it a CBS show? CBS show Under the Dome. Dean Norris. He also played Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad. Walt's brother-in-law. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
Did, and he looks the exact same in this movie as he does in that in
Yeah.
whatever. Breaking
It was like
Bad, yes.
a 10-year difference, but he does look the exact same.
It was very weird, but yes,
He wasn't in it very long. Uh,
no,
Murdered unceremoniously, much like his character in Breaking Bad. And then the second guy that you wouldn't recognize, but he played a cop very briefly. Tom from Desperate Housewives. He played the husband of Felicity Huffman's character in Desperate Housewives. He was the cop very briefly. I can't remember if he died or what happened in the one, but he wasn't even credited. I had to kind of dig that up.
it's like a IMDb like deep cut. Fact.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I've been talking a lot. What are your impressions of the film?
Well,
Watch.
I have to say, went in with pretty low expectations. I didn't actually look up too much about the movie, just because I try not to do that when I watch a movie. A primer, I kind of did the opposite. I was so excited to watch it that I looked some things up before I got into it. But going into this movie, I didn't know much. I had a pretty good sense that it wasn't supposed to be a great movie. But I had a ton of fun watching this movie. It was pretty ridiculous at times. The acting was not fantastic most of the time, but there was just there was and but one thing that I really appreciated about it was there was no like boring moments. There wasn't like, a 10-20 minute interlude of just boring downtime. It was just go, go, go. It was all exciting. It was all tons of fun. And I just really enjoyed it. And it was quite a way to wake up, especially at 6 in the morning.
So fast paced.
Very fast paced.
Fight scene after fight scene. Jet Li fighting Jet Li. Jet Li fighting prison guards. Jet Li fighting other people. Cops mostly. He killed a lot of
Yes,
people in this movie.
he sure did. Really pretty impressed in some moments, like where he's fighting himself. That it's like I had to look up, like, does Jet Li have a twin that I don't know about? Because it was so well edited to make it look like it was really two of him. Like it wasn't so obvious that he was fighting, like a stunt double in some scenes. It really looked like him, two versions of him in a lot of those scenes where they're both in it. If you know what I mean.
Yes. 2001, 21 years ago, but CG, the technology that they used, like you said, the Jet Li fighting Jet Li, and even when they were sucked up, the three of them sucked up to a different one of the multiverses,
Yeah.
just disintegrated, much like Avengers Endgame. Amazing.
You're dropping so many spoilers. I love it. Although I guess if you haven't seen that by now, yes.
Yeah, this could be another topic for another time, but I think there's probably a cap on spoilers. Like if you haven't seen like 2 years, if you haven't seen a movie 2 years, you can spoil it.
Yeah, like and you saying Hank Schrader dies and
Yeah.
break.
That show ended in like 2015 or something. Maybe I can't remember.
It's your fault if you got ruined, not us.
Yeah, it's not like I'm spoiling the new Spider-Man.
Right. Because I'd be happy to tell you that.
I do have one spoiler for Spider-Man, but I'm not going to say it out loud.
Don't
There's
say
just
it
been
out
so
loud.
many memes about it. Anyways, um, yeah, fast-paced, and then the music.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was one of the highlights for me.
Um, Probably my favorite scene was Evil Jet Li driving, changing
Yeah.
the radio station, all these, slow, stupid songs, and then a rock song comes on. He just, nods along like, "Yep, that's his jam."
Oh man, there were so many like edgy songs in this movie, like the bodies at the floor
And
and
Down with the
just the
Sickness,
sick.
yeah. A lot of Papa Roach.
Yeah, it was hilarious, but it kind of worked. I thought.
I definitely worked with the fast-paced fighting scenes. Yeah, never a dull moment. Lots of action scenes, very fast-paced. Those were the great things. There was a reason why this was 13% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think. And I didn't give it a very high score myself. Acting, like if you have I mean, Jason Statham can't be that good of an actor overall, but yeah, you'd kind of expect more.
He was a bit of a letdown.
And he had hair, which was weird.
Yeah, that threw me right off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot of notes. Just a fun movie over. Fun doesn't necessarily mean that it was good,
Right.
but fun.
Would say that technically this was not a good movie, but it was. But my personal experience of it was that I really enjoyed it. But I enjoyed it as I think you and I have actually gotten pretty good at doing, especially with all the certain movies that we've watched. You go into it knowing that it's bad. You just kind of fun with it. I think that's kind of what I did.
And I have some fun trivia to go along with movie. Some of it from IMDb, some of it I looked up elsewhere. So the movie, The One, starring Jet Li, written and directed by James Wong, who also wrote and the live-action Dragon Ball movie in 2009. I don't know if you saw that one.
I did not, but I knew of its existence.
I don't think it did very well either.
No.
This movie also the first movie ever to mention a multiverse.
Yeah, it's quite timely as well, considering the new, like where Marvel is going with their films right now. The multiverse is a big thing.
Oh, I know. Jet Li starred as the villain in the third Mummy movie. I don't know if you knew that. This was 2008, though, so 7 years after the one
You're
he
a
starred
lot of
in.
facts I did not know.
The villain to Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. Another member of the Mummy family was originally supposed to play the role that Jet Li had in The One, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, known as the Scorpion King. But it just didn't work out. I think Jet Li was always like the guy they wanted, and then they got The Rock, who in 2001 wasn't really well known outside of wrestling. I don't think he'd done anything really, not a whole lot. By 2001, but so he was kind of the backup, but they got Jet Li, so they passed on him. And then this movie also released the same weekend as Monsters Inc. So it was second in the box office for that weekend. I think it's November 2001. And the last thing I'll say about the trivia wise is that just going through the IMDb page, there are a lot of factual errors, continuity errors, plot holes, and revealing mistakes.
I always have fun like trying to find those on my own when I watch a movie that I know isn't great, but I didn't actually find too many on my own. So I'd be interested to hear if you have any that.
I just pulled one out.
Okay.
Kind of the one that stood out to me the most. I didn't notice it when watching the first time, but reading it kind of ruined the movie for me.
Oh boy.
So near the end, Jason Statham's character, you know how like he's talking about how the wormhole will open in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
It actually takes a little over 12 minutes for the wormhole to open, not 10 like he says.
Oh yes.
So
that's a common thing with movies. It's like, no, we got 3 minutes to get this done, and 20 minutes later, it's finally when the 3 minutes up. I did purposefully actually keep that in mind. So, okay, he's going to say 10 minutes. It's not going to be 10 minutes. But it was close enough to 10 minutes that I wasn't like, I didn't notice.
Yeah, there's a lot more. I encourage you and anybody who listens to take a look after watching the movie, of course. Before watching the movie won't make any sense. So doing the podcast, kind of this is an aside.
Okay.
There's stats. They tell you like how many listens or how many downloads it has. And I don't know if like you're just like listening to it on your own all the time, but we actually didn't do terrible considering I didn't advertise this at all. And I don't know how people can listen to it unless they search Your Mother Ate My Dog for some reason on Spotify. So
yeah.
Well, who knows?
No, I haven't. I only listened to it once.
Amazing.
That's exciting.
Okay. Well, do you have any other things you wanted to talk about in regards to The One, the 2001 film by James Wong starring Jet Li?
I meant to look up the Matrix before I'm assuming I think the Matrix came out like '99, right?
Let me Google that for you. I think 99 is correct.
Sounds right, doesn't it? Just because as soon as I heard like people saying Vote One, I think of Morpheus in the first Matrix movie.
It was 1999.
Okay. I don't know. I did feel like when I was watching it, it was like a little derivative of other things. The Matrix was one. I can't. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember the exact films, but I'm like, oh, that's kind of like this part's kind of like that movie, and this part. But I guess it's kind of hard to stand out as super unique in that kind of genre, I suppose. I mean, it is that type of genre that sort of lends itself to being like, you've seen it a million times. The same plot over and over again. So I mean, I guess I haven't seen that necessarily that exact plot, but maybe the main plot points. I feel like I had seen before in movies that came out before this.
So are you going into your score for originality?
Yes, that is the perfect segue to my score for originality. I'd probably put it like maybe at like a 2. It didn't really blow me away like Primer did.
Okay, I went the other way. I gave it a 7.5.
Okay.
Because 2001 movie, jumping around different worlds. I guess I was perhaps generous on this one. I wasn't generous anywhere else. 7.5 originality. 2001 movie, multiverses, different versions of himself. He has to destroy to become the one.
I'm not upset with your score. I did go the other way, but I can see why you gave it that.
What did you have for the ending?
Uh, the ending wasn't great. Maybe I probably right down the middle.
I gave it a 5 as well. I only gave it that high of a score because good save the dog,
Yes,
and then
that was good.
Evil Jet Li having that all-time line.
I am Eula. I'm nobody's bitch. You are mine.
Jason Statham really didn't do much, to be fair.
I've kind of always seen Jason Statham as not a very good actor. So, but I guess maybe I haven't seen him in the right things. But he was just kind of like he performed how I thought he would, just not good.
He doesn't have to be that good of an actor. Just like there wasn't a lot of fight scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
It never really seemed like there was high danger of anybody dying. I guess except for Delroy Lindo, whatever his name was.
Mm-hmm.
His name was okay. So going back to one of the different multiverses when his partner Delroy Lindo was like a mechanic. I don't know. He worked at a gas station or something.
Yeah.
His shirt said Axel, so I can't remember if that was his name. His character name was Axel, but
I don't think that it was.
That's probably didn't
Yeah.
stand out. So,
No, no.
so what do you have for expectation?
Well, I had pretty low expectations, and I just had a lot of fun watching this. I knew it was bad. Like technically, it was not a good movie, but I was never bored. It was entertaining. So my reality versus expectations, I'd have to go maybe like an 8.
Wow, that's fair.
Yeah, it surprised me.
Second last category is acting, which we've touched on a lot. I'm just going to say I gave it a 3, and in parentheses I said not great.
3,
Not great acting.
No, it was not great.
You were only expecting a masterpiece. It could have been better. Dog did great at the end. Other than that, not great.
Yeah, I would have to go probably maybe a 5. I mean, it's an action movie. I guess the acting doesn't need to be amazing. So right down the middle for me.
Yeah, and the fight scenes were decent.
Yeah, I have to say, I haven't seen a ton of Jet Li films. This may be my second, maybe third, or something like that. But in this sort of genre, I've always really loved Jackie Chan. I think he is just like unbelievably talented. And I couldn't help but sort of compare Jet Li's performance in this type of film with that of a movie by Jackie Chan, and to me, it was not even close.
Are you saying Who Am I will be the next movie we watch?
Well, there's a possibility.
Are you saying Rush Hour will be the next movie we watch?
There's a possibility. Although, no, I won't pick either of those. But
Rush Hour 2 will be the next movie we watch?
two, yeah, you nailed it. No, I might go for a deep dive on a Jackie Chan movie. It's possible. I did have a couple of movies in mind that don't have him in it, but who knows? Who knows what the future will hold?
I gave it 5 out of 10 overall. Right down the middle. Yeah, I think we said everything we need to say about it. 5 out of 10 seems generous, but
No, to me that's about right. It's certainly better than the tomato score that I got of 17. Certainly better than that.
yeah. What about you? 6, 5.5, 7.
Yeah, I'd have to say like maybe a 5.5, 5.5 or a 6. It was super entertaining. It gained a lot of points for that.
So it was a good movie that I picked for 6 a.m.
Oh yeah, that was a.
Why did you watch it so early?
Well, I don't know. I wake up so early weekends, even though I don't want to. I don't know. I just felt like getting it done. And I thought it would be kind of funny to watch a movie like that as like almost as soon as I wake up. And it did not disappoint in that regard. It was pretty hilarious. My barely awake self thought it was, yeah, it was great.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I mean, that was the one.
Well,
The One, 2001 movie, The One, starring Jet Li, Jason Statham,
Yep.
Carla Gugino,
Gaguno.
Delroy Lindo, Dean Norris, Tom from Desperate Housewives, other people.
There were more than those people, definitely.
123 Jet Lis, all of them dead except for 2.
Yes.
All of them with similar names. Eula was the
Eula.
bad one.
Yes,
Can't
Eula was the
remember.
bad.
Can't remember what the good one was, like Abe or something.
No, it was like start with Gabe, I think.
Close. I wonder what Jet Li's up to now.
I don't know. I haven't heard the name Jet Li in a long time.
I don't think he acts. I did read something from him recently that he was gonna do a famous movie. It might have been The Matrix, but they wanted to like steal all of his moves and like license them out or something. So he didn't want to do it because he'd lose his identity as a martial artist or something.
All his moves, like he has like distinct moves that someone can watch and go, "Oh, that's a Jet Li."
Yeah, like the contract was for him, so they would put like one of those suits on him where like he does his stuff and then they own that
Right.
because it's in the movie or in
Interesting.
preparation for the movie, which is not something he wanted to do,
Right.
which I guess was the right decision. I don't know if that was The Matrix. I should look that up. I can't right now because I'm holding down the T button, but
How's your kitten?
he is a bundle of joy.
What's his name?
His name is Angus. Angus was a name picked by the cat rescue place. He was a part of a cow, like a group of. They were all named after cows. So you had a Holstein. Other names?
Yeah, Wagyu.
No, but
Rib.
that could have been. Like, maybe there's a fourth cat. I think there's just 3 cats.
Okay.
And then yeah, Angus, and he just fits the Angus. Him and Rue, my other cat, they get along. They play. They're both sleeping right now. Gino, the other cat, isn't bothered. He just chills.
That seems to be
So,
sort of his lot in life, I guess.
yeah, as long as he doesn't sleep in his spot, whatever.
Yeah.
I think eventually this podcast will be a brief, what I hope it to be, a brief overview of the movie we watch, and then other stuff like get into some trivia or other stuff.
Or other stuff.
Like a fun fact, book recommendations.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Album of the week.
Yeah, that as well. Okay, well, I'll just do it, I guess. I'll just be the one to take control.
Oh, you can be the one.
Yeah, no, I did not do that on purpose. On that note, we should have done the one for the first episode. So silly, because then
Oh,
that would have been the one. And then we could have done Rush Hour 2 for the second one, Shrek the Third for the third one,
mm-hmm.
New Matrix, Matrix 4 for the fourth one,
And just somehow kept that going.
Police Academy 5 for the fifth one,
Yeah,
Saw 6,
yeah.
one of the Friday the 13 movies. I'm sure there's 7 of those. Oh, maybe Nightmare on Elm Street. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm Josh. That's Jesse.
And Jesse.
Your Mother Ate My Dog, the podcast. Thank you so much.
Bye.